I'm Galactic Chosen Warrior here, and this is going to be my first video on this channel, and let's talk about some Metroid rumors. Now the first rumor I want to be talking about is the famous Justin Bailey rumor that, well, you know that in Metroid, the NES version, you can put in Justin Bailey and you would arrive on Norfair with all missiles, all your weapons except for the ice beam, and you'd be missing one energy tank, but besides that you could just go fight Mother Brain and beat the game. So, Justin Bailey. The first rumor that comes to my attention is one that seems pretty logical, that he was one of the programmers behind the game. The second one is that the name Justin Bailey comes from a player who won a Metroid contest to have his name incorporated into the game's password system as a reward. And lastly, that that Justin Bailey referred to as Samus being just in a Bailey, because in many British Commonwealth nations they refer to wetsuits as Bailey, so that's pretty much why. Now the rumor that really doesn't make much sense and most people don't even know is about the second one I talked about, it being about a player who won a Metroid contest to have his name incorporated into the game's password system, but that's never really gotten attention, and I really couldn't find any or much information on that, so I'm assuming that that one just doesn't exist. Now, the second one, or the first one that I talked about, was that he was one of the programmers behind the game. And you could be Metroid NES and try this, that you won't find his name anywhere in the end credits. So that theory's out also. And the last one that I talked about that makes the most sense is Justin Bailey, as in referring to Samus as just in a wetsuit. That one makes the most sense, but I've heard from some fans that if you look closer, her outfit seems to look more like a leotard than an actual Bailey. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about that. But now it's regarded as a total fluke by most fans, saying that it just wasn't real. And 26 years later, most fans still see it as a fluke. Oh, and one that I forgot to mention was that that it's pretty funny that he was a programmer who got into hiding after, for some unexplained reason, but that one's not even worth mentioning. Now, the next one I want to be talking about is Metroid 64. Now, Metroid 64, like the name suggests, was supposed to be released for the Nintendo 64. After Super Metroid, many fans were eagerly awaiting a sequel to the incredible and arguably the best Metroid game, and it was cancelled for the Nintendo 64, but while the game was referenced several times, it never entered production. Now, the closest we'd ever got to playing as Samus around that era was in Super Smash Bros. But the game was cancelled due to uncreative ideas, and this was later acknowledged by Sakamoto, the co-creator of the game, and a quote from Sakamoto during an interview: "I was actually thinking about the possibility of making a Metroid game for the Nintendo 64, but I felt that I shouldn't be the one making the game. When I held the Nintendo 64 controller in my hands, I just couldn't imagine how it could be used to move Samus around. So for me, it was just too early to personally make a 3D Metroid game at that time. Also, I know this isn't a direct answer to your question, but Nintendo at that time approached another company and asked them if they would make a Nintendo 64 version of Metroid. And who could that company be? Retro, maybe? No, that's just pushing it. But anyway, the response was that no, they could not. They turned it down, saying that unfortunately they didn't have the confidence to create a Nintendo 64 Metroid that could compare favorably with Super Metroid. That's something I take as a compliment to what we achieved with Super Metroid. Now here's the interviewer. Can you say who that company was? Sorry, I cannot. But anyway, to sum up, the reason we didn't get Metroid 64 was that there weren't enough creative ideas thrown around, and if it was made, it probably would have just been a rehash of the same old stuff we knew, and nothing much that would separate it apart, and possibly could have been worse. And let's say it was made, it could mean that we might not have gotten the Metroid Prime trilogy, which is one of the greatest trilogies of all time, by the way. So, anyway, it's time to get on to my next rumor I want to be talking about, and that's Kraid in Metroid Prime. Now, this isn't really that major of a rumor, but I still want to talk about it. Kraid was originally set to make an appearance in Metroid Prime just as Ridley had his. However, he couldn't make it into the final production. Some fans have said that you can learn it by looking at some concept art, but I haven't really picked up much. But anyway, if he would have been in the final production, you would have discovered him around the Faith Online, and Faith Online and with Kraid, I think that has some potential to be really awesome. But most of us probably remember Faith Online as being more annoying than fun, or was that just me? So, you can't help but wonder what it would have been like if Kraid was in Metroid Prime. I mean, it probably would have just made the game more awesome. I mean, what could really be better than Kraid? Two Kraids? Well, as long as he's not fake this time. Now, the next and final rumor I'm going to be talking about is Metroid Dread. Now, this has been claimed to be in development for so long. 7 years, I think, now it is. But anyway, in 2005, right before E3, Nintendo announced a mystery plan entry into the series, which we haven't heard since. It was supposed to be a sequel to Metroid Fusion, taking place right after the game, but we haven't heard anything from it except in 2007, and in 2007 it's also the year that Metroid Prime 3 Corruption was released. And in Metroid Prime 3 Corruption there was a scan saying that, well, quote, experimental status report update. Metroid Project Dread is nearing the final stages of completion. Now, this was used as proof by many fans that Metroid Dread was actually being in production, and that it was just planned secretly. However, later Nintendo denied reports of this, and many Metroid fans were disappointed by this. And well, why wouldn't you be? But anyway, after this, many fans started losing faith about the Metroid Dread project was ever going to be completed, and I was one of them. However, in 2009, Yoshio Sakamoto, the same Sakamoto I talked about earlier, and was also the director of Metroid Other M, during an interview discussing the game, he acknowledged that it may or may not be real. And, well, he says this by saying that one day it may hit stores. Sakamoto didn't deny the report, but he didn't, he didn't really deny them. Maybe he has some inside info that we don't know of. The Metroid Dread was originally supposed to be a DS release, and some have wondered if it'll be a Wii U release. I personally think that Metroid Dread will actually come true. I mean, that seems unlikely by all the non-information we haven't been getting at all. But I just have faith. I'm optimistic about it. But that's all I have to say on these rumors. And if there's something you'd like me to talk about, please leave it in the comment section or private message me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. And if you want to see more content, make sure to subscribe. But until next time, I'm Galactic Coastal Warrior, and I'll be seeing you next mission.